I am laughing, y'all. I made videos about this on TikTok numerous times. But defensive lineman DeSanto Rollins, you guys remember, this is the young man that tried to sue Ole Miss and Lane Kiffin for $40 million because, well, coaches didn't really think he was worth a scholarship. They signed him. They said, hey, we need to kind of process this guy out, get him to the transfer portal. We got to figure out a way. And the way they were going to do it was they took a defensive lineman and they made him the fifth string offensive lineman. And then they told him, well, at practice, you're going to get no reps. You might as well transfer. And he took that and he went and he said he needed to take a leave of absence from the team. He was having an emotional breakdown, a mental health issue, if you will. And the young man said, I can't be here anymore. I'm leaving. And he went and asked for help. And he started looking for help. But he went MIA for about 2 weeks. And every single day, Lane Kiffin was saying, yo, get your ass back in here. I want to have a meeting with you. We need to have a conference. And people were like, well, you need to leave him alone if he's taking a leave of absence due to his mental health issues and things. And that's fine. But you can be left alone. When you get back to work in the real world, you're going to have your job gone. You lost your job. We need to find other people that can replace you. We need to find people who can do the job. And especially in college football, if your head coach wants to see you, come see him. And eventually Rollins did. Rollins showed up with a tape recorder and recorded the conversation and tried to make Lane Kiffin look like a monster, vilify him. And the reality is Lane Kiffin gave him a dose of reality. Lane Kiffin was saying, hey, man, this is the real world. You got to show up when your boss tells you to show up. You got to answer to certain phone calls and certain things. And I know for a fact you wouldn't be this distraught and this depressed if we didn't move you to the offensive line. If we gave you reps and you were still on the defensive line, you'd be just fine. This is all circumstantial, and everybody needs to understand what that means. This means, given a certain circumstance, you're having this issue. You are circumstantially depressed. You're not really depressed, because if the circumstances change, you're no longer depressed. Now, I'm not an expert in this regard, but I have seen many mental health experts in my life. I am a over 20-year veteran in the military. I know people who are suffering from mental health issues. I've seen it 100 times over. I know every medication we give out there and we take. I've experienced this. I've been dealing and fighting with anxiety and depression for 7-8 years. So I understand where the young man was coming from. But what he started to do was talk about gender discrimination, racial discrimination, and it didn't make sense to me, bro. If you were white, Lane Kiffin doesn't want you on the team, guess what he's going to do? He's going to process you out of the team because he needs 85 scholarships for somebody else. He really does. And that's his job, is to put the best team together at Ole Miss, regardless of what you're going through. He needs to put out the best product on the field or he loses his job. So the young man thought he could go out and sue. Lawsuit's been thrown out. Shout out to that judge. And Lane Kiffin, keep doing what you're doing. Listen, Lane Kiffin's going to break promises. He's going to tell kids stories about how they can play there. Shout out to Jam Griffin. It doesn't matter. His job is to get the best players on the field or on the team. Make your best 85, Lane Kiffin, and however you got to do it, you do it. And if the kids don't like it, well, they got the transfer portal. They can go find another school to play at. I'm not going to vilify a head coach for doing his job, which is get the best players in the program and then go win games on Saturday. By the way, he won 11 games. So Lane Kiffin's doing the right thing. If you're a kid and you're not wanted there, move on. Go to another program that would love to have you. If you could ever get a scholarship at Ole Miss, you probably can play at ULM. And you're going to be wanted. You can play at Southern Miss, and you're going to be desired. But your pride hurts. You don't understand how the real world works, so you decide to try to sue for $40 million. Get the... shout out to the judge. Your friends don't know, but Rico knows. Good job, Lane.